Welcome. This is the Between Brothers podcast, where we bring you real talk, authentic takes, and laughs on sports and pop culture and life. I'm your host, Lando, along with my big brother, Zero. Zero, the Chancellor of Charisma. Catch us up. How's everything?
Yeah, everything is good. Um what's it called? Folks, I think I mentioned it last week. Um Actually no, I didn't. Folks were trying to get us to work on well, this is recording on a Sunday, work tomorrow. And I let them, yeah, they wanted us, they were trying to give us all sorts of incentives. It was like, hey, if you work on a holiday, you get your hours and you get your holiday pay. It's like you act like there's folks here that already don't know that. It's like that's nothing new. And it was like, well, the salespeople, they trying to get a whole bunch of initials going. I went to the meeting. The first thing I asked was, hey, so what about the people who work initials? Do we get a half day? or or do we have to work a full day because they're initials? He's like, oh, you're gonna have to work a full day. It was like anybody who works standards work a half day. I was like, yeah, you can scratch me off that list. Then they say, hey, salespeople are trying to get some stuff done. So do you want to? So who wants to work on Saturday? Nobody answered the text message. It was like the fuck, like who you
Yo,
think
get
you
left
are?
on red like crazy.
Like crazy.
Get left on red by multiples is nasty work.
Like you get left on red by 13 people. That is remarkable. It was
Yeah,
like, damn, he's like, I don't want to text y'all individually, but let me go ahead and throw
yeah.
this all in there. And
And
people,
nobody was like, I'm out.
it's just like,
Nobody was like, I'm out on
it's
that.
like that silence spoke volumes.
Yo, said it spelled louder than them responding.
Like,
Dang.
yeah, he even called me. He was like, hey, I know you he said, I never got a response from you. Did you want to work on Monday? I said, no, I don't want to work on Monday. It's like, well, I was like, yo, I do initials. I, I'm not going, it's like, I'm going to have to work the entire day. It was like the only people who can get their money and be able to relax on that day are the people who do standards. This is like you said you're going to take me off initials for about a month and then put me back on. You still hadn't done that. Like, come on, yo. Don't play with me, yo. It's like you're lucky. It's like you lucky I haven't started using my PTO. I got a week's worth of PTO that I can use. I'm just saying. Yeah, but other than that, everything else has been good. Having to watch folks see Travis Hunter run a couple routes, and they say he gonna be a bust. It's like because the first day of OTAs is gonna tell you everything that you need to know about a player. Yeah, let's make that make sense. It's like so so every year when the Cowboys say they're gonna make it to the Super Bowl, you believe that?
Well, there are some people who do.
Yeah, it's like
There are some people who do.
the same idiots that keep on saying, "Oh, we look good on paper." It's like you can crumble up paper and throw it in the trash too.
Exactly. Because Cowboys in like the 2000s Chargers
Oh
always
Jesus.
looked good on paper and never did anything with it.
Yeah.
I can't believe LT and Phillip Rivers never went to a Super Bowl. That is the most mind blowing thing
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
NFL history.
definitely. But yeah, other than that, everything else has been good. So yeah, and nothing else to report.
That's what's up. So how can I put this? So my week was a week of self-reflection because we did our podcast on Tuesday on the last episode, and so we're recording not a few days later. But I turned 37, earlier this week, or I guess technically last week, a week ago, and I had to do some. I was listening to a podcast, the Secrets of Success podcast, and it was something that made me reflect on my life. And I always try to do like some kind of self reflection and everything like that. But I remember one thing that made me change a lot of things about my life. It was in my early 30s. I guess I'm in late 30s officially now. And it was like, you know, there were like life. It's life. The good things is bad things, right? But I was like, even with all the good and all the bad, it wasn't necessarily, it's not even necessarily that things are going wrong in my life. But I'm like, man, I feel like I'm stagnated, you know, and so back then I was like, man, I've been living the same year for 5 years. Like, there's been no real advancement. And so currently, or, turned 37, I had certain things I figured I would achieve by now. And I haven't, which, I mean, again, it's life. You got setbacks and comebacks and all kinds of stuff. So it's not that deep. But I was like, my life hasn't changed in maybe 3 years outside of, well, I got married about 2 years ago. But like, as far as like the daily stuff, the me always wanting to advance, there's been pretty much no advancement. So I had to reflect because that podcast specifically, he was like, yeah, he said that he wasn't speaking to the people who ain't doing nothing. And he was saying, like, I'm speaking to the people who are doing everything they can, but nothing's changing. It's because you've been delusional. And not saying like there isn't something that you could, like, there's things that you could do worse, things you could always do things better. So it wasn't necessarily speaking to that. It was just like you 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 said in your mind, or you said to everybody like, oh, I'm gonna do this or I'm gonna do that. And you were never willing to do X, Y, and Z, to do this and that. So it's similar to, I had a friend of mine, he was like, yo, I want to go to the NBA. It's like, you played high school basketball, didn't get recruited, didn't go to school. Then when it comes to like working on your game, you don't really, work on it. Like, you're okay with being the best rec league player, but that's not what it takes to get to the NBA. So it's like, you're delusional. Like, because you think you about to get to the NBA, but there's a dude at Michigan State. Matter of fact, I'll give an example. Draymond Green was the National Player of the Year. People think that he's bad at basketball. He was a second round draft pick, and he's 6'8". He was on the. I don't know if he went Final Four, national championship. I don't remember where his career ended at Michigan State, but that's the guy that so many people are criticizing, saying he's not that good of a basketball player. He's a Hall of Famer. I think he's an excellent basketball player to me. But like, that's the level of competition you're going up against. and you like, yeah, I'm about to make the NBA. Not saying you can't, but the way you working ain't gonna get you there. So I was like, yo, I remember I never said this on the podcast, but I remember I started hitting the gym before I got married. Started hitting the gym. I was going to the gym pretty, 3-4 days a week, 45 minutes to an hour, putting in work, like, putting in good work. And I had my scale in a different room. I was getting on that scale and it was like everything was declining. Scale kept going down. You like those things, right? But here was the delusion. Then we'll move to these topics. The delusion was I was losing weight. And I thought I was losing weight as rapidly as I did because I was working out. And I'm getting on the scale at home. The scale at home said I was 304 pounds. The scale at the gym said I was 344 pounds. I was like, yeah, there's no way there's a 40-pound difference. So I'm gonna go with the one at home. Then I get on the scale again at the gym. It tells me I'm like 325 or something like that, like maybe a week later. So I'm like, okay, this thing is definitely malfunction because there's no way I lost that much weight in a week. But then the scale at home was still measuring me at 304. So then I'm like, I don't know what to believe because I grinded all week and I didn't lose. I lost 20 pounds on one scale and I didn't lose any pounds on the other scale. So I'm like, I'm just gonna whatever. I'm not even gonna get on the what's it called scale, the gym scale, because I can't trust it. I go to the ER for Link. He had something going on with his ear or something like that. So go to the ER. This is about a month after. I step on that scale. It's winter time. I step on that scale. That joint said I was 326 pounds. This is months later. So this is where you start lying to yourself. I was like, this don't make no sense. Probably because I had all my winter clothes on. Because the scale at home is telling me I'm 280 something. And then I go to One Life and I get on that scale. I'm like, oh shoot, this ain't matching the home scale either. Then I go back to the rec center, my normal gym. It's closer to the ER weight. I'm like, something's wrong. I'm like, I'm even measuring myself. Because I never just trusted the scale. I trust the tape more than I trust the scale. I'm like, I'm measuring myself. I'm smaller. And my clothes are fitting looser, which it wasn't like I wasn't losing weight. I just wasn't the weight that I thought I was.
Mm-hmm.
So I moved my scale from the laundry room into the bathroom. I joined a lot closer to the scale of the ER.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, a couple pounds heavier. Do you know what it feels like to think you've lost an absorbent amount of weight just to get on the scale, the official scale, join at the doctor, they calibrate the boy and everything, and realize you way heavier than you thought you was. And all the work you've been doing, going to the gym 45 minutes, hour, sweating, drenched in sweat, all kinds of stuff. And it's like, oh shoot, like you really ain't, like you put in some work, but then it's like, what about the tape? I grabbed my tape. delusion. The tape is warped. In my head, I was stretching the tape subconsciously to match the weight on the scale. And I was like, yo, I really deluded myself into this. So since then, I've been measuring myself on the rec scale and the home scale. It's usually about a 2-pound difference. So my scale at home is usually 2 pounds lighter than the one at the rec. But yeah, I'm like, okay, this is my real weight. Then I went to the doctor, had my first doctor's appointment in 5 years. And it was the weight it was in between the weight of the scale, home scale and gym scale. So I was like, okay, like that's my real weight. My real weight is somewhere within these 2 pounds. So I'm like, okay, like but but it's just like, all right, trust the process. But just, imagine you're on the scale and you're 40 pounds heavier than you thought you was. And you putting in work for 8 months, 9 months. And so I was like, okay, what else, what other areas in my life am I deluding myself? And so I had to reflect. And in this week, I'm like, yo, I'm 37. Like the delusion, I got over the weight delusion. But then hearing that podcast, I was like, what other areas of my life am I deluding myself? So I literally looked at it, looked at like the real facts, hit Google up, hit Chat GPT up, came up with a whole strategy because I'm not very good at strategizing, so I use other people to do it. And now, we're gonna see what year 37 brings us. And I remember, I forget the guy's name, but he was on a podcast I was listening to. He trained Tom Brady and Desmond Howard. He was Michigan's strength and conditioning coach. And he said, you won't believe how much your life will change if you give 100%, 100% of the time. And so I was like, all right, like, we're gonna give it a shot, see how that works. And yeah, so normally we always be joking and laughing or like, on this podcast, but I didn't want to share with people like, yo, this is where, I'm not gonna get too detailed because we still got topics to talk about, and we, gonna be shorter on this podcast than I want to, because we start a little later than usual. But I did want to say, like, yo, like, your net worth ain't where it is, or where you thought it would be. Your weight ain't where you thought it would be. Your family life ain't where you thought it would be. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, don't be delusional. Tell the truth to yourself and make adjustments, because that's the only way you can make adjustments, if you're honest with yourself. So yeah, we'll see what year 37 brings us. But let's get to these topics. We have not discussed this yet, because, quite frankly, because of how the NBA rolls out its awards, we was really just waiting on the MVP, and even then, that was very strange. Usually, it's announced either in the beginning of the second round of the playoffs, and it seemed like the NBA held it because they announced everything else during the second round of the playoffs, and it seemed like end the first round into the second round, which is usually where they normally do it. But because the two MVP candidates were playing each other in the second round, it seems like, especially all the controversy and debate that's been around it all year, it seems like the NBA held on to it until the series was over. And even like the all NBA teams was strange that they held on to that. Because it's not like the strange thing where Dwight Howard was first team all NBA, but Marc Gasol was second team, or the first team all defense, but Marcus Gasol was second team all defense, even though he won defensive player of the year that season. So it wasn't like a situation like that. Both of those guys were first team all NBA. So I don't know. I don't even know why they held that for as long as they did. Um, but my prediction, SGA MVP comes true. I thought Ant-Man was gonna have a shot, but he really didn't play up to an MVP level during the or during the playoff or during the regular season. He's playing well now in the playoffs, but that don't win you MVP, unfortunately. Um, so he averaged 32.7 points a game, had the NBA's best record at 68 and 14. They were looking like up until towards the end, a 70-win team. But I think what happened to the Warriors blowing it in the finals, I think that they probably dropped a couple of games because they felt like chasing 70 wasn't worth losing in the finals. So yeah, so I'll go through all of them and then we'll for real, we'll probably just discuss MVP. So SGA MVP, Evan Mobley, defensive player of the year, Stephon Castle, who I don't think he was. I think he was robbed in the dunk contest, but that's just me. He rookie of the year, sixth man of the year, Peyton Pritchard, which I don't know about that. Most improved player, Dyson Daniels. I think he did. I think he was that guy. I didn't know about clutch player of the year. Maybe I just never paid attention to it. Or I know it's a new award, but I don't know. I don't know when it started though.
Me either.
And then coach of the year was Kenny Atkinson. Executive of the year, Sam Presti. I mean, that team that Oklahoma City's assembled is fantastic. First team All NBA, SGA, Donovan Mitchell, Jokic, Tatum, and Giannis. Second team All NBA, which I found strange, but I think is because of that rule. The 65 game rule. Jalen Brunson, Steph Curry, Anthony Edwards, LeBron James, Evan Mobley. Third team, Cade Cunningham, Halliburton, Harden, Cat, Jalen Williams, and all defense, Dyson Daniels, Dort, Draymond, Amen Thompson, Evan Mobley. Second team all defense, Tumani Kamara, Rudy Gobert, Jaren Jackson Jr., Jalen Williams, and Zubac. And did I go rookie? No. Alex Sarr, Zach Edey, Jalen Wells, Risha Shea, and Stephon Castle. Yeah, I thought Edey was going to win rookie of the year. I think he was my pick, but I think it's because he was the only person I really knew. So not that I knew anybody in the draft, but yeah, I guess Zero, talk to me, man. Tell me where you want to go with these awards. Like what you want to lead with. What kind of what questions do you have about
Right.
who won and things of that nature?
Well, what's it called? I don't even know who the candidates were for sixth man of the year for me to think that Pritchard. Yeah, because we talked about it. It's like all fair. It's like um Russell Westbrook wasn't even one of the three finalists, which is, but it is what it is. Um, because with the all NBA teams, you always know every year they got snubs.
Yeah.
So I was looking at the list of snubs. So they have because like whoever got snubbed from the all NBA teams, it's like who do you take off the list? It's like so the Sengun from Houston, um, Jaren Jackson Jr., Trey Young, Zubats and Tyler Hero and Sabonis. Yeah, those are all the names that they said were snubbed. Like, who
I don't
would
know
you take
why
off?
LeBron was all NBA. And I'm curious if Luca didn't play 65 games because I don't know why he wasn't. Um, but I'm assuming that's why he wasn't because he didn't play 65 games. But the 65
Yeah,
game rule is putting undeserving people on the list. And I mean, I understand why they did it, but it's like LeBron James is not an All NBA player, in my opinion. You know, he has solid numbers, but like he wasn't making an impact on his team enough for us to believe that they were an All NBA team. Because they got exponentially better when Luca got there, so Luca made the bigger impact.
yeah,
But then they got bounced in the first round, so how much of an impact did either of them make? But I know it's a regular season award, but I don't know why LeBron got there, or at least second team. Maybe third team. I think was more suitable for him. I was actually surprised that Jaylen Brown didn't make an All NBA team at all. I know they didn't mention him in that list, but I don't know what else he could have done to make the All
yeah.
NBA team.
And every player that was on the first team besides Donovan Mitchell were all unanimous.
Yeah, and all of them deserved to be on the first team. It wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, because yeah, no, yeah. Somebody was saying that Jalen Brunson should have been first team. I'm like, the Knicks didn't win at the clip the Cavs did, and he didn't put up the numbers that Mitchell put up.
Yeah.
So I don't know why you would think that Jalen Brunson deserved first team more.
Because he's from New York. Or
Well,
he
he
played for New
plays in New
York.
York.
He plays in New York.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I said, first team, I don't have any issue with. Even though I'm not a fan of Jokic, he was in my opinion, he had the second best season in basketball this year.
Yes.
So
So he's the only player in NBA history to finish top 3 in points, rebounds, assists, and steals.
yeah. So I know people were saying that and putting that up there, but
Mm,
you know you know, I remember it was before he won MVP, Giannis. Giannis was the first player ever to finish top 20 in all 5 categories. Nobody thought he was the MVP. Russell Westbrook's averaged a triple double 4 times. They only thought he was the MVP once.
mm,
So it's just like being better statistically doesn't make you the MVP. Um, though he had a fantastic season, I'm just going to give you some stats. So he averaged 26, 12, and 9 last year. So like he was near the triple double. Everybody said like he had he had a horrible team around him. I'm like, you don't if the team is so horrible, you don't win as many games as they did.
mm.
And then they fired their coach for no reason. And he had a great season. But averaging a triple double, there's only one player who's averaged a triple double and won MVP, even though it's been done 3 times. So averaging a triple double has never been a guarantee to win MVP. It's like Oh well, he was the first center to do it, or the first non-guard to do it. So they play everything through him, and he's a passer.
Mm-hmm.
That's how the guys who average triple doubles average triple doubles. So it's just like I mean, to say forget the record because he averaged one more assist and two more points than last year and had a worse record makes no sense to me. Or, no, yeah, was it worse? I don't remember what the record was on top of my head. But yeah, to have well, they didn't win 60 games, so it had to be either the same or worse. So to do that and then to say that he deserves it more than the NBA's leading scorer than the NBA's best player on the NBA's best team. It's like, come on, y'all. Like, but then, I've noticed that everybody who's been arguing for Jokic on every social media thread. I got this from a guy named Dante from Dante's Boxing Nation. They have the complexion for the protection. And it's just like, yeah, I don't know since when did winning not matter. Winning at the highest level didn't matter for MVP. And they're like, oh, well, all he does is put up points. Jokic does it all over. He's even top 3 in steals. He's getting it done defensively. Well, efficiency wise, Shea was the better defender. If you want to look at defensive rating, he's the better defender. So getting steals doesn't necessarily mean you're a great defensive player. Guess what? Because James Harden led the league in steals. Y'all never accused him of being a good defender. Steph Curry led the league in steals. You never accused him of being a good defender. Allen Iverson led the league in steals 3 times. You never accused him of being a great defender. So it's just like, no, like there's a reason why blocking shots is always been more of a great defensive player stat than getting steals. Because you don't block shots because somebody might have mishandled the ball. You know what I'm saying? And kicked it into you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or somebody threw a horrible pass. I've seen guys get steals without even paying attention. That's never happened with a block shot. So it's like that's why steals isn't a great. He had a lot of steals. Don't get me wrong. He had a great statistical season, but it did not translate to winning. And then when you saw that game 7 when they went up against each other, when you saw what Shea did and you saw what Jokic did, it wasn't like somebody showed up to play and somebody did. So I don't know why there's this big debate. And then also, can somebody explain to me why he won MVP last year? In my opinion, Jokic only had one MVP, and that was the year that Embiid got it.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, Giannis should have 2 MVPs. And one of the years that Jokic got it, I think Embiid should have got it. So there's that. What do you think about the MVP discussion?
Honestly, what's his name? It seems to me like Shea should have 2. But it's always that freaking narrative. It's like you gave it to the wrong person, so you had to make up for it by giving it to the wrong person again. it's like
But I don't think they gave it to the wrong person.
No, not this year. I'm talking.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
yeah.
That is like, you gave it to Embiid when Jokic should have won it. So now you give it to you gave it to Jokic last year, even though Shea should have gotten it because you screwed up by giving it to Embiid. Because let's be honest with ourselves, we've been over this over and over and over again. If what's his name, if Kendrick Perkins and whomever else, I can't remember who started this whole campaign about Embiid getting the MVP, not being
The
get
racial side of it.
yeah,
Yeah.
like Embiid wouldn't have won that MVP. It would have been Jokic,
Yeah.
and then we wouldn't have to deal with the same thing that we've dealt with the last 2 years. Like now, they didn't get it wrong this year. Well, there may be folks that disagree because of Jokic's when it comes to how historic his stats is, being the first player to ever be top three in everything in those in 4 out of the 5 major categories. But let's be honest with ourselves. Shea should have two. Shea should be a back to backer.
Yeah.
But you had to make it up to Jokic for the whole situation from the year prior. I, um yeah, they gave it to the right guy. Um I wouldn't have been surprised if yeah, I thought that what's his name? I completely forgot that Giannis was in the race, but because of the fact that when it came to 1 and 2,
Yeah, it was a
and it
two
was
man race.
it was like he was a distant three.
If they didn't start the season so pathetically,
Mm-hmm.
he would have I think he still would have finished third just because of Jokic's stats, but it would have been a 3 man race. Like it would have been legit. Like these three are legitimate candidates.
Mm.
But starting out
Yeah.
so bad, and then I don't even think they hit 50 wins for the season. So it's like, yeah, it's hard to justify it, even though it's like he dominated. I think he's the first player. He's the first player in a while to average 30, 10, and 5.
Yeah.
I think he's the first player since shoot, who was it? I don't remember. Um, I think it was Wilt. I think
Mm.
Wilt. I think Wilt and yeah, only Wilt and Oscar Robertson. I think have averaged 30, 10, and 5.
Got you. But it's I have no problems with this one. Yeah, I have zero problems with this MVP race. Yeah, they got the right guy, and what's it called? And the only thing that I was hoping for, which is exactly what happened last year, they had no explanation for Jokic as to why he won it. This year they didn't need an explanation for why Shea won it. Like he deserved
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
So you didn't have to. It's like
yeah,
there's nobody on any major publications talking about why they had to. It's like this is the reason why we don't care. We
yeah,
don't care. It's like
yeah,
you got it wrong last year. You got it right this year. So
yeah,
you don't need to explain to us why. You just know that the problem is that you felt like you had to make up for the mistake.
yeah,
Yeah, but it's like this was undeniable. I don't give a damn. It was like he could have. It was like he. There's. I don't think. I think he would probably have to average Wilt numbers. It was like 50
yeah,
points, 29 rebounds, and then still average 14 assists a game in order for him to
yeah.
get that. But yeah, I have no objections to it. I love it.
So there was a discussion. Kevin Durant mentioned when it came to like they're saying that the international players are catching up to the NBA to the American players because there hasn't been an American to win it since James Harden, which
Mm,
was in 2018. So I think since then it was Giannis, Embiid twice. No, I'm not sorry. Giannis, Jokic twice, Embiid, Jokic, now Shea. And then all of those years, it's really come down to Well, Shea came out of nowhere last year for everybody but me. But 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 um and I say everybody but me because I think SGA that year was like 28-1 odds to win MVP. He was like one of the longer odds for all-star players to win MVP, and then and I was the only person who said he would, and he should have. But but the issue with the whole the international players are catching up with the or with the American players is because they're not. Like, don't get me the elite international players are playing at the same level the elite American players are, or in these cases better. But it's like when Kevin Durant was like, he mentioned like, oh, like y'all, like they took our coaches, they took our coaching style, playing style, this and together, and so it's just like then like they learned everything from us, but that doesn't mean anything. I mean, he had a valid point. Like we should get more credit for growing the game, to where it was American coaches that were going over there and teaching them the game. But at the end of the day, that doesn't matter because the elite NBA players are virtually all European or foreign, and there's nobody like the fact that Cooper Flag. Not saying he's a bad player, but the fact like Cooper Flag, there would have been a time in America. There was a time in America where Cooper Flag would have been a guy that you wouldn't have considered to be the first overall pick.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because the white players are catching up and being really good. So it's like it's not even just a European thing. So it's just like, and it's because players don't get coached anymore in America, and they're soft on the coaching in America. It's like like when you see these European coaches, you watch European basketball, you see how they be ripping in to these college age, teenage age kids. You don't see that anymore. All the coaches that were doing that back in the day, they all retiring or they get fired. So, but I say it's ridiculous to say, okay, just because the cream of the crop are as good as our cream of the crop, that means that the rest of the world is caught up. No, because like you saw, what was it? You saw Jokic, who y'all say is the best player in the world, couldn't do nothing in the Olympics against the American team because the rest of the players on his team ain't as good.
Yeah.
But I think when our legends leave, so LeBron, Steph, who else was on the Olympic team that was a legend?
What, this past year?
Yeah, this past Olympics. It might have been KD
and Steph.
So yeah, LeBron, KD, Steph. I feel like I'm missing one or two people, but when those guys leave, then we can like start really to gauge because we don't know like to be honest, we like when we were playing and we were losing to teams like Nigeria, it was looking like the world was catching up to us.
It's like, oh, South Sudan.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like That should never happen.
I thought Sudan was just one nation. I didn't know they had a South one.
Exactly. So it's like, yo, like, and then when you find out they were playing, like, where they were practicing, it's like, yeah, you shouldn't get, like, y'all got too much technology. Like, like, generally speaking, like, in war, and I know this isn't war, but like in war, the nation with the better technology usually wins.
Yeah.
It's same thing, same concept. Like, in competition, you shouldn't have all the better technology and lose.
Yeah, like watching like a USC playing a Division 3 school is like, they have more, USC has way more resources than a Division 3 school. They probably got to
Yeah,
buy their own cleats at Dick's Sporting Goods.
exactly. And you're like, and like I said, it's always a shock. Like, it's like, oh well, going back to the war discussion, like, oh, what about Vietnam? Like, America got beat there, and they had the technological advantages. But it's like, but this is an even playing field.
Yeah.
This isn't somebody foreign going into your terrain. You know it better. You can strategize better.
Yeah. You
This
went to
is, and then
yeah.
also how rare it is. It doesn't happen. Like, what I'm saying, they didn't like. America's been in war for how long? It doesn't happen. America is supposedly has only lost one war, and there hasn't been a war on American soil since the Civil War.
Yeah.
So they've been in constant with them. Us as a country been in constant war ever since 18 or since the 1900s.
Mm.
Let's say World War II. America's been in a conflict since World War II every year. So you're talking about 80 years. And you got one loss in 479. You 496-1. You out here with a Lomachenko record when it comes to war. And and we're going into other people's territory. So it's like, but we're talking about basketball. We're talking about, like, it's 94 feet. I think 94 feet long. I think it's 60 something feet wide.
Mm.
No, it's not that long. It's not that wide because the 3-point lines are 22 feet. So let's say 25, 26 feet wide and 10 feet high on the hoop. And you both go and both of y'all start right in the middle and throw a ball up and tip it to your team.
Mm.
And you got the same amount of minutes every quarter. Nothing changes. This is an even playing field, and you got beat. So maybe so, but I'm not going to gauge it until the elites, the legends, are out of the game, which they won't be in the next Olympics. None of them. Well, maybe KD. I don't know, but I'm sure KD's my. No, dang, KD's my age. Yeah, he ain't gonna be in those Olympics either. I mean, he could play till he's 40 technically, but I doubt he
Yeah.
would want to.
But now you're gonna have players like Tatum, maybe Brown if they maybe Jalen Brown. I don't think so. Um, you'll have Tatum, you'll have Anthony Edwards, you'll have shit. They might have Cooper Flag on that team.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh, side note, I've been following the score. It's 94-90 New York.
Let's go.
With 5:07 left in the game. If it was 7 seconds left, that'd be a different
Yeah,
story.
if it was 5.7, I
It's a
don't think I
five
would.
point.
Actually, after game one, I don't even know if I would trust that either. But yeah, so yeah, let's go. Hopefully we can pull this one off and get two on the road. One for the money, two for the show. All right. What else? What else is there? We're running short on time, so let me go.
Sleepy Joe.
No, I don't know if I want to do Sleepy Joe. I don't know if I want to do Sleepy Joe.
Oh,
But
yo,
uh,
we gotta talk about Piccolo.
yeah. No, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, because I think the trial stuff that came out, I think that's going to take us too long to unpack
Yeah,
that. So, all right, so we're just going to go, unfortunately, for y'all this week, we only had 2 topics for y'all. But well, it's my fault. I did take a long on my intro, but yeah. So Zero brought something up to me in the conversation. He said he saw a list of top black anime characters, and there's enough black anime characters now. This ain't like this was the '90s, right?
mm-hmm.
Yet they put 2 green niggas in. I need to know, black people, unite. Tell me why is Piccolo considered black? Tell me why we as a people cling to one of the most irrelevant characters in Dragon Ball Z. And don't give me nothing about trying to make Piccolo relevant. Here's why he's not relevant. I shouldn't say of the big characters, of like the major characters in Dragon Ball Z or in the Dragon Ball franchise. Tien is not a major character. Chaozu is not a major character. Yamcha's not a major character. They're hardly seen throughout. They're not in every story arc like these. These are the guys who are in every story arc. Goku, Vegeta, Krillin, Gohan, and Piccolo. Tell me Piccolo more relevant than any of the other guys I mentioned. Tell me that he's more relevant than any of the other guys I mentioned. Because his only competition is Krillin, as far as the bottom. Krillin is really now. I don't know. I'm not talking about Dragon Ball Super. I haven't watched it. I don't know nothing about Dragon Ball Super. We attached ourselves to Krillin or to Piccolo way before Dragon Ball Super. So you're not gonna sit here and talk to me about Dragon Ball Super. Explain to me, how did Piccolo become black?
Yeah, I really would love to know that. You know, I would even love to know how did Piccolo become a better father than Goku? Like if we can go back and remember when Goku died fighting Raditz.
Yeah.
Piccolo Piccolo took Gohan into the wilderness, dropped his ass off, and said, "This, figure this out."
And bro had T-Rexes chasing him.
T-Rex is chasing him. It was like, what's his name?
He gave him a sword though, right?
Yeah, he gave him a sword. Yeah, he gave him a sword and he gave him the
The
same
power pole.
outfit. Yeah, no, just
No,
the
Gohan
sword.
never had the power pole.
Now he gave him the sword. He gave him the outfit, but he was like, "I'll give you the same outfit as your father, but the symbol says that you're from my camp." What camp? No, he was camping out. Like that. I don't get it. It was like, yeah, they had a relationship. They had a relationship after, and I think it was a relationship after Piccolo sacrificed himself. But everyone was to say, "Oh, he sacrificed himself for Gohan." What the fuck do you think Goku did? like,
Bro, he died.
like Goku sacrificed himself twice for Gohan. because he sacrificed himself versus Raditz because he knew he was gonna die. He knew he had to hold on for
Yeah,
him. So he sacrificed himself for Gohan. So Raditz didn't get to because Raditz was going to kill Gohan if Goku doesn't do what he does.
yeah,
Raditz found out how strong he was and he said, fuck all that. Everybody go die.
yeah, yeah.
And then And then when Goku realized he was wrong for the Senzu bean thing because he didn't realize, because what was it? I guess folks gonna be like with Piccolo, oh, he understands Gohan better than Goku does. It was like Goku thought that he was going to whoop Cell's ass,
I
but
mean, he did.
not. I mean, before he turned before he went Super Saiyan 2. And it was like he's like, yo, he's not the fighter that you are. And then when he realized his mistake, he knew he wasn't going to be able to beat Cell, but he was ready to jump back in there and take the ass whooping to keep his son safe. Then sacrifice himself again when he was going to when Cell was going to self destruct.
And it was his fault that Cell was even in the position to self destruct.
So it's
So
like
he even washed his sins away.
so you're sitting here so because he's like Piccolo's sacrifice was more than what Goku did. No, it's like
What
no,
Piccolo sacrificed himself
against Nappa
Nappa. That's what it was. But
because
I think Gohan had looked up to him prior to that, though. But I mean, he was literally where was Chi Chi in all this?
watching TV
Because
or
bro
no,
was in the wilderness for
not
years.
he was in the wilderness for so long. It was like Chi ain't even go searching for her. She just did Chi even know that Gohan got kidnapped?
That's how I'm like, I don't know. That's so strange. Especially how like on top of him she was. How did she not know? Or like, because what I'm trying to remember Dragon Ball Z because it's been so long since I watched it. I'm trying to think of like, because Gohan was in the wilderness,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it took Goku a year to get back.
Or did it take him a year to get to Snake Way, or to get to King Kai's? Because I don't know if it
Maybe,
because it took
maybe,
a because I think
yeah,
it took him a whole lot faster
because
to get back to the
because
checkout
he was
station.
stronger and everything like that. But I think, but I don't know how long it took him to get to get back. But it
Yeah,
was a year. It was a year's time regardless, because I don't think it took him months to get back. I think it only took days.
I don't even think
No,
because
I think it only took a day.
yeah, because it was the same day he got wished back, and then yeah he got wished back, and then and I think that was before Piccolo died.
Yeah,
Because when Piccolo died, Kami died. Yeah, it's like, but I'm like the question at hand. What why did Piccolo all of a sudden get adopted by the black community? What did he do? Is it because like what did he do? Like
Piccolo. I can't even think of a fight Piccolo won.
except for in the movies.
Technically, Raditz is his win.
It's, yeah. And what's
Technically,
it?
Raditz is his win. But I'm like, who else? What other major character did Piccolo beat?
Yeah,
First of
because
all, when he absorbed Nail, and then
mm,
he started doing that weird celebration when he was feeling the power within himself, and he was like,
yeah.
"Yes, yes, yes!" Like
And that
we
nigga
should have,
was like, he's
we should have,
home.
we should have wrote him off. Then.
Yeah.
We should have wrote him off.
and then and then what's it called? And he fight it was like and him and what's his name? Second form Freezer were on equal footing. And then he transformed into Alien Resurrection. and
Bruh,
that
it
dude.
wasn't even a match.
No, I think that's why he's accepted in the black community, because when Frieza was shooting him, that nigga was Harlem shaking through every blast that he was getting hit with. Yo, my man was getting it in. He was like that nigga was chicken noodle souping like crazy when he was
Bruh,
getting.
I don't get it, man. I don't know why we would attach ourselves to the loser.
It was like
I think actually maybe it's because he's a loser. No, because black people. Like black people, like we'll be like we'll make somebody less black if they didn't grow up under the poverty line.
They
Like
did, or
if they grow up around or under the poverty line, they're not as black.
yo,
It's just
if
it's like
they didn't
that. It's
watch
like, oh,
certain
because we
movies,
saw Piccolo struggle.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like, because I'm like, is it the rasp in his voice? Is that what it is? Because he got extra rasp.
is that, or is it? Or are you trying to say because he took care of Gohan? It was like, oh, is another black man taking care of somebody else's kid? Is that where you trying to? Is that where you're trying to
Why
go?
would that be the black thing?
I don't know why it would be the black thing, but for some odd reason, especially since he was number one on that list. You mean to tell me that?
How did Maryland become black? That was weird. When you told me that, I was like, personally, I've heard the Piccolo thing. I never heard the Maryland
Like,
thing before, but
yeah, because I remember that, and it was so weird because you literally have Afro Samurai on that list, and he's not number one.
Afro Samurai, any of the Bleach characters, because they had a few black ones. I haven't read Bleach in a while, so I don't remember all their names.
What was that? That black ninja from Naruto.
Well, all the ninjas, all of them are ninjas in Naruto. The Raikage, Killer B.
That's what I was thinking about, Killer B.
Okay.
That's who I was thinking about, was Killer B. I could not remember his name to save my life. It was like Oob.
Yeah, if anybody from Dragon Ball is Oob or Mr. Popo.
I think Mr. Popo made the list.
Yeah,
but we don't even know what Mr. Pope. I mean, he does look like a caricature, but
he definitely is probably the most racist character ever drawn. That don't make no sense. That don't make no sense. Him and Jinx. Between him and Jinx from Pokemon.
And they had to change her to purple.
Yeah, because they blackfaced the hell out of him. Insanity.
Yeah, it's like what makes you hold? What makes Piccolo black? I think one of my friends was like trying to explain to me as to why. It was like
he's named after a small flute. The great American philosopher D.L. Hughley once said, "The flute is the instrument." What was it? He said, "No, playing the flute is playing the soundtrack to an ass whooping."
Oh, and he got that plenty of times. He's got that plenty of times. It was like when he fought Raditz, when he fought Nappa put a dent in the top of that nigga's head. He was like with that swift elbow, bow. He got his ass whooped by Nappa.
The tail boys, they're like, oh, okay, we gonna get him. We gonna get him with this one.
Yo, he
snatched that tail. He was like, "What are you doing, Kirkpatrick?"
Now, you son of a Gohan! Nice attempt! That's impossible.
Piccolo, no!
there, don't they?
He put that mean bow to his foot. Yo, you get elbowed so bad your eyes go completely white. His eyes went white. I think he started drooling. He got stunned so bad he held on to the tail while he was knocked the fuck out.
Yeah.
Yo, he got his ass whooped by Frieza. He got his ass whooped by 17. He got his ass whooped by Cell. He's like, he got his. I don't even know if he
No,
fought
what,
Boo.
did he fight? Did he fight Cell?
What's it called? I think it was semi-perfect Cell.
I remember
Because
him
I
getting
think that's
torn
when
up
he
by the Cell
absorbed Kami.
Juniors.
I think that's when he absorbed Kami, and then he fought Cell before he became perfect. Remember,
Oh,
because what's his
I
name? Because
remember.
then Tien showed up and almost killed himself using his tri-beam.
Yeah.
It was like, yo, like that's fucking crazy. He got his. I don't even know if he fought Boo, but no, he got spit on by Deborah.
Yeah.
Yo, you got beat up and spit on. Like that's what we want to represent ourselves with.
I mean, technically, during the '60s, that happened a lot. So.
Yeah. It was like, yo, my man got spit on. He said, it was like, yep, that right there.
I don't understand it, man. I'm like, nah. If I'm latching on to any black character, it's Afro Samurai.
Yo, it's like,
it's
like that number 2 headband. I'm gonna need that headband. It was like Afro, Killer B, anybody else. But y'all pick Piccolo. What? Because he wore that he looked black enough where when he went to driving school, which was one of the dumbest shits I've ever seen him on. Why did anybody need to drive? They could fly
I think
wherever
that was a filler. I don't think that was a real
well, but I don't give a shit what it was. Like, and what's it called? And Piccolo, he did a lot of meditating. A lot of you niggas don't know how to sit still. I ain't trying to hear none of that shit. That's it. You can get home and then sit down, turn on the TV for 3 seconds. Nigga, I'm bored. I ain't trying to hear none of that. Yeah, I never understood that. Like somebody gotta explain it to me. It's like what? His antennas look like dreads? Is that what it is?
Yeah, man. Yo, y'all gotta answer us, man. Y'all gotta answer us.
I'm saying because what's the name?
You
Piccolo
want
damn sure ain't getting to the
us to
games.
be you want us to be Namekians?
That weak ass, like yo.
Wait, hold on. You said what about the yams?
It's like Piccolo ain't getting to the yams.
No, I just thought were there female Namekians?
Let's get to these parting shots.
That nigga gang.
Nigga gang.
Yo, I gotta look that up.
Yo,
I gotta look that up. Because I don't remember any female Namekians.
No, I don't think so. They could produce the eggs.
That dude was a hermaphrodite.
Yo, because what's the name? When King Piccolo died in Dragon Ball, he spit an egg out.
Yo, you might be right, man. I don't remember. I'm looking it up, dog. We'll go to these parting shots after I discover this key.
He spit out an egg, spit an egg, spit an egg, spit that egg.
Yeah. Namekians reproduce asexually.
Yo, Jesus Christ. Yo, that
Namekians are genderless. Kira Toriyama said Namekians are genderless.
So Piccolo's a bitch nigga. or nigga bitch, however you want to slice it. Bitch nigga or nigga bitch.
Oh. All right, what's the see you next week. We don't even need no party shots after that. Oh man, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. No, let's get to it, man. What's your look? Literally right on time too. That was perfect time. What's your party shot, dog?
Yo, my parting shot is if if you need a break, if you need a mental break, take your mental break, yo. Don't let anybody try to force you to do anything outside of what it is that you feel like you need for yourself.
Yeah.
Because folks will try to pressure you into doing things the way that they want you to do them instead of what it is that you feel is right for you to do. So you can tell that person, F off, I need a mental break. And if that gets you back into the swing of things, do exactly what it is that you need to do to get you back in the swing of things. Because the last thing you need to do is end up collapsing, doing some shit that you ain't had no business doing. Because nobody, the one person who needs to care about you the most is you.
Mm-hmm.
Because nobody else is going to.
Nobody else gonna care for you like you do.
That's my parting shot.
My parting shot is what's your skincare regimen? Yo, your skin is shining on this thing, boy. That thing gleaming, boy.
Yo,
You know what
yo,
I'm saying?
yo.
Like, you got that vitamin C treatment, nigga. Got that green tea treatment. You got that simple serum, man.
Yo,
What kind of serum you on, man?
yo. I'm not joking. This is exactly what it is that I do.
Let's get
So,
it.
so I wash my face with a daily cleanser, right?
Okay.
Then I exfoliate after that. Get a
Okay.
liquid
Exfoliation.
exfoliator.
Okay.
Then I double up on the vitamin C serum.
Oh, snap.
So
Vitamin
I
C
double up
serum.
on the
Okay.
vitamin C serum. I got this what's it called? You double up on this vitamin C serum and then you double up on the moisturizer.
Okay.
So it's like so yeah, so it's so what I use, yeah, so I'm gonna take a picture of everything that I use and show that shit to you.
People listen to this episode. I'm not joking. The people who are hearing the audio, the video will be out on Wednesday, same day. But I'm not joking. I'm asking. I'm not making fun of my brother. I'm actually asking him because I was like, yo, that his skin is shining. He got that glow. Bruce Leroy ass nigga.
I'm good. Yo, what's it called? Because there's
That's the name of the episode. He got that glow.
So what's it called? There was a YouTube channel that I went to. I can't remember how it was worded. I think it's buttery betterness or better butteriness. I don't know which one it is, but that's where I got it from. Like he has stuff on like hair, talk about hair growth, getting hyperpigmentation off of your freaking face, how to how to smell good all the time, like a whole bunch of stuff. So I saw that and I was like, yo, my skin be looking drier than a loaf of bread. I need to do something about this. So yeah, I'll send you a picture of every item that I use. And yeah, I'll send you a picture of every item that I use. So you want to get in on this? You want to get in on this glistening?
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Out here, this nigga is too glistening, man. You know what I'm saying? A few years ago, I was making fun of his beard routine. You know what I'm saying? A 3-step process. Now I want me a 3-step process. You know what I'm saying? I need me a 3-step process. I had a pimple earlier today, and then you just come up here clean it. I'm like, okay, this nigga trying to shine on me, literally.
So I'm gonna send two different pictures. I'm gonna send you. So I got one for just daily stuff, and I got one for if I end up having a breakout. I'll send you the 2 pictures of the stuff that it is that I use. And from left to, and yeah, the picture from left to right is the order that I use them in. So I'll send that to you like right after we get off.
All right, bet. Well, this has been the Between Brothers podcast, where the talk is always real and the laughs always come free. Thank you so much for joining us. We love y'all. We'll see you next week.